They had that shit on lock till I snapped on them like bolt cutters. You cannot play both sides, gotta choose your colors. See him throwing that one up with that W, that's my blood, bro. Fine in. I ain't show no mercy, I'm gon' show them boy what time it is. I pop out like I'm Samuel, I got time to kill. Haters thought I died, I survived. They don't know how I did it. Got it out the dust, straight to glory. They don't know how I feel. He's nice, but he don't show them skills how I show them skills. He ride, but he don't work the wheel how I work the wheel. Ooh, I got a made, circle tight, yeah, back and seal. Said they want my life, I ain't worried, I got Ray for real.
Pando, kill the beat.
I don't know who, somebody need to hear this. Y'all don't speak Hebrew, that's Yiddish. How the fuck you try to label us anti-Semitic? We the Israelites, blacks, native Hispanics. The Germans getting locked up for the Holocaust. Meanwhile, black people still up in the Holocaust. 100 million of us died in the transatlantic. 6 million died, y'all want the world to never forget it. You can never be a Jew, you a Ashkenaz. This ain't a star dum-dum, a gun die or die. Yeah, Yeezy told the truth and got ostracized. Not one person in the Bible had on a yarmulke. We was slaves in America like we was in Egypt. Y'all don't even fit the curses in the Torah neither. Y'all was blind to the truth, I had to make it clear. How Jerusalem, your land, your people came from Europe. That was 1947, your menorah got 9 sticks, it's really only 7. Yeah, it's us against the world, Armageddon. This what happened when you inherit lies from your ancestors. Y'all the synagogue of Satan with them black hats. Your whole nation sitting ducks, Aflacs. Bunch of thieves and culture vultures, ain't nothing kosher. To tell the truth, you vagabonds don't have a culture. Macedonia, Alexander and Philip, you a convert, so tell me, how the fuck is you Israel? That don't make you the people just cause you litter. Why my people can't hate your people like y'all hate Hitler? All the prophets was black and was called nigga. Y'all don't even fit the description that's in the scriptures. Abraham, all the way down to Jacob, we the real Jews. Y'all don't study Christ, y'all follow the Talmud. Keep it real, yeah, let's keep it real. Cold hard truth, it give you chills. Say y'all Jewish cause y'all ain't really them. About to do them like Hammond, it's the Feast of Purim. UPK undefeated, this an easy win. We was born fighting, y'all the evil twin. Jacob took hold of his heel, then out came his little red bastard, they kosher deals. It's only 12 tribes, y'all trying to make it 13. Esau despised his birthright, the Lord cursed him. He ain't the devil, who is? I'm still searching. Ask your rabbi, why he get them babies herpes? I don't know what's worse, that or you claiming that you a Maccabee. I'm about to cancel, everybody try to cancel ye. I ain't afraid to speak, this what I do. They riding to the core, I'm just judging them by their fruit. Cause they ain't suffering curses. If I was carnal, I promise I'd punch you in person. I know this an uncomfortable subject. They making millions off our culture and black people suffering from it. Yeah, they don't believe in Christ, they the Antichrist. Make a living off of niggas, they a parasite. I ain't afraid to tell the truth, niggas terrified. I'm about to go DEFCON 4, I ain't satisfied.
That is proof. That is absolute proof that they know we are the real Jews. That's absolute proof. He got the records. Go find me a white Jew on any archaeology in Egypt anywhere. You will never find a piece of archaeology with white people as slaves in Egypt. So don't tell me that they were slaves and it's their identity, and they know it. And I know the blasphemy of them that say they are Jews and are not. The Lord knows the blasphemy of you so-called white people that say you are Jews and you are not Jews. You are not the people of the law. You are not God's chosen people. God's chosen people are living in the ghettos of America. God's chosen people are in poverty and depression in the streets of America. God's chosen people are walking around in America with no identity. That's where God's chosen people are.
Practice. Not a game. Not the game that I go out there and die for and play every game like it's my last. Not the game. We're talking about practice, man. I mean, how silly is that? And we're talking about practice.
Best believe that I'm top 3. The only thing is I'm not 2 and I'm not 3. Put me anywhere other than one that is not me. It's
beef, we shred a nigga block, that's chopped cheese. No peace, the butterfly sting him, that's Ali. You reach, I teach him with the handle, that's Kyrie. Machines you hook like a Roman, that's IV. You a sheep, I'ma go, it's a difference, so watch me. You weak, all hooks, no punches, so block these. They mock me, I just show them how it goes. Try to stomach this thug life, they ring got the nose, bandana on the grip. All heads coming out the foe, connected from Cali to New York, niggas, so let it go. Made for this, nigga, I eat bars and drink flows, thinking you woke into your third eye, a peephole. Line for line, this shit too easy, it's like a free throw. Mastered the game too early, this bitch a cheat code. It ain't a game, these niggas lame, they bring a shame. If I'm with an officer, it's a number in his name. We ain't the same, you want the easy pass, tell him change his lane. Shit, I've been through the fire, you can't stand the rain, take an aim. Tell him runner he can try his best. Drive a car named after me, that's why I'm in the vet. Laugh at these niggas once again and I ain't break a sweat. Number one at everything I do, that's why I'm one west. The Lord is not the God of the dead, so when I die, coming back for my spot, so forever I'm top 3. Just tell him to watch this janitor with the mop stick. You gon' need a defensive lineman to block this. On point when I bomb shit, 10 for 10 I do not miss. I'm barking with a full bulldog, it is not mixed. They can see that my mind's sick, I don't write, I find shit. I don't like it, then I switch. If I touch it, it's diamond. Tell a bitch that I'm God sent. It ain't because my kicks is built like 5'6", 5'7" is my bitch. Dangerous, high risk. I lose it, get another one. You think I'm talking about a girl? I'm talking about another gun. We here now? Hey, look, it is what it is now. We don't fuck with the house niggas. We burn the crib now. I'm ahead now, and I hope they can hear now. I don't care if you think it's it, nigga. I don't fear clowns. Silences make it sound like raindrop. That's a quiet storm. Get the job done in the view and get fired on. If you niggas standing for nothing, what you dying for? If you put real with real, that's how I was born. Walk in this bitch ready for war. I'm in riot form. I want these niggas to see me flex. That's why I am armed. I shouldn't live in the crib, nigga. I should buy a farm to go through this shit so effortless. Best believe that I'm top 3. Only thing is I'm not 2 and I'm not 3. Best believe that I'm top 3. Only thing is I'm not 2 and I'm not 3. Best believe that I'm top 3. Only thing is I'm not 2 and I'm not 3.
Bust their head.
ODing on a beat, Narcan flow. Got my... We outside. We outside with it. That temperature's getting hot, we take it outside. You run your mouth up in this club, we take it outside. I got my killers with me, you won't make it outside. Outside, cause we outside. Before the COVID had the mess and we was outside. The Glock loaded, extra mag and it's outside. There's one west for that bag and we outside. We outside. I got the world in the palm of my hand. One west sleeve stretch, do it live on the gram. Had a whole world viewing. Click and subscribe. Had them niggas off the block, tell them shooters they want a job. I just put them on the payroll. When I get control them, I just mold them like they Play-Doh. Soldiers giving Halo, trying to get up at them pesos. 40 cows send you out of space, Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos, leave you all boxed up. All cause my delivery, I be on that prime shit. Take you time to get with me. Got me like Vladimir, treat you like the Ukraine. Raid your little city, now you boating like Usain. Scope costs more than the rifle. I got new aim, fresh kick, spit with the blick. Not my shoe game. Used to have a dirty 30 tied to a shoestring. Now I got that Ruger 5 and 7. That's my boot thing. That temperature's getting hot, we take it outside. You run your mouth up in this club, we take it outside. I got my killers with me, you won't make it outside. Outside, cause we outside. Before the COVID had the mess and we was outside. The Glock loaded, extra mag and it's outside. There's one west for that bag and we outside. We outside. That temperature's getting hot, we take it outside. You run your mouth up in this club, we take it outside. I got my killers with me, you won't make it outside. Outside, cause we outside. Before the COVID had the mess and we was outside. The Glock loaded, extra mag and it's outside. There's one west for that bag and we outside. We outside. I don't talk hardly, be there when you call me. Send them Philly clippers at your head like a baldy. chopper get to roaring down your block like a Harley. No, this ain't a big hog, this the big dog.
In your city, swinging through the jungle like it's pitfall. In the water wading, marching to my cadence. Big burst of thunder in my hands like I'm raiding. Shitty Mortal Kombat sounds, but I ain't playing.
Look 'em in the eye before the war like a weigh-in. I'm up in the AM, politicking movements with that Draco from the vid because it's proven. Waiting on my brother how to bid, he ain't do shit. That's how life go. Win some, you lose. Seen a little nigga beat a big nigga out his shoes. Seen that nigga come back, pull up with a gun strap, rob everybody outside, told him run that. We outside, that temperature's getting how we take it outside. You run your mouth up in this car, we take it outside. I got my killers with me, you won't make it outside. Outside, outside, yeah, we outside. Before the COVID had the mask and we was outside. My Glock loaded extra mag and it's outside. It's 1 West for that bag and we outside. Outside, outside, yeah, we outside. That temperature's getting how we take it outside. You run your mouth up in this car, we take it outside. I got my killers with me, you won't make it outside. We outside, outside, and we outside. Outside, outside, yeah, we outside. We outside, outside, yeah, we outside. It's 1 West on them corners and we outside. We outside, outside with it.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what it is. I'm 44 the rebel, busy man shit, nigga. They just head on, nigga.
Pray where Eve did to Adam, I just pray my love don't lie to me. Swing the iron like Samson, I can't let no hoe lie to me. I don't feel these rappers, all they lies is hypocrisy. Ain't no competition, ain't no rivalry. Nigga think I'm playing, I don't hear one word they saying. This shit light work. Think Muhammad one of us, he might lose his life first. Circle up and stay alert. Another cop distress the nigga. He a demon, it's an exorcism. Watch I bless the nigga. You took that oath in blood, then you know I'm gon' get active with you. Fuck the opposition, I see vision. Let me paint the picture. Rappers claim they spit and I ain't listening. Is in fact a fiction. If revenge was a woman, now I stroke that bitch like Jack the Ripper. War, we gon' run in summer. It's gon' be historical. Thought they making plays, made them niggas call the audible. Ask who run this shit, but that question is rhetorical. Bitch, I'm the one, me cookies with the oil. I'ma get them crack as hell, should've never kidnapped my family. I came to do damage, bet I be the last nigga standing. Do a life sentence for my niggas, pray you understand me. I might put a switch on this Glock and call it Young Perry. How you real tricking on them dots, you a bird feeder. Claiming he a demon, what's a demon to a cult leader? When he said something, I ain't hear him, this shit light work. It ain't about who got the gun, it's about who gon' up that pipe first. I turn a bad situation to a game change. Soldiers from the dead, just raised up the chain. Free shots, I'ma look like Aaron Jones when I run it back. Never bite the hand that feeds you, you won't never get that hand back. He bitch about 10%, I don't wanna hear none of that. He dropping sword, fuck him, just make sure you get that cover back. Look around, he ain't with us, probably cause he never was. Now my chin like you with the angles for your brother's blood. Everybody won't be Richard Porter, God kill him like Alpo. Play if he want, it's laying in the trunk like Lee Malvo. I'm a certified woman's ass nigga, I am not a toy. Hey, I with that hollow side, yeah, this the real McCoy. Feel like Gullah Jack when I'm in Fayetteville, you feel your boy. Still about my bread, still I think that's all that I enjoy. The way I get that boy lost, they gon' start to call him Elroy. Fuck his gang, pop out on them demons like I'm Hellboy.
Special.
This shit is endless. What I speak is the truth. I don't care if it's offensive. 12 rounds hit hard, and this shit gon' go the distance. Way to exit cool, but wait till you see the interest. Know that we them niggas when we walk inside the entrance. Put me as the GOAT, you should be honored to get a million. All my clips is standard, but I still get extensions. Switch on the big 30, sound like when it's spitting. Album so high, I had to give them an extension. 1 West till they bury me. Yeah, that's the commitment. Don't trust the soul, niggas purring or they hissing. Been winning so much, they didn't think I put the fix in. Get the game to go my way, they gon' thinking that I rigged it. If I say it in my raps, I would do it or I lived it. What you say in your raps is entertainment, you just kidding. Hard times, I got tired of being broke, so I fixed it. This pole get the job done, nigga, this is stick shit. What I speak is the truth, I don't care if it's offensive. The life that I chose, no turning back, we in this. They don't understand till we tell them no forgiveness. Rain on them, 40 days, 40 nights, shit is endless. What I speak is the truth, I don't care if it's offensive. This the life that we chose, no turning back, we in this. They don't understand when we tell them no forgiveness. Rain on them, 40 days, 40 nights, this shit is endless. Reincarnation, so you know this endless. I'm solidified and stamped, that's why I walk with a signet. Build it from the ground up, did it all independent. Don't put your head in my business, to the wall I'm appended. They say I walk around like I'm perfect, bitch, I'm sinless, blameless. And if you ain't the same, I'm against it. Was born with this shit, the other half, I'm just gifted. 20 on me, wish a nigga would so I could spend it. Start from the branch, then I end at the soil. Got a peer on me, that'll leave your family tree spoil you. Can't catch you, then I get your man, make him lure you. The only comp is me, and I'm trying to be cordial. I feel like I'm royal, you interchange with the mind. I love a 10 with a sexy walk, but I'll take a switch with a 9. Gear up and go crazy when they tell me it's time. Empty the whole clip to the last shot.
He dropping swore, fuck him. Just make sure you get that cover back. Look around, he ain't with us, probably cause he never was. Now my chin like you with the angels for your brother's blood. Everybody won't be Richard Porter, God kill him like Alpo. Play if he want, it's laying in the trunk like Lee Malvo. I'm a certified woman's ass nigga, I am not a toy. Hey, I with that hollow son, yeah, this the real McCoy. Feel like Gullah Jack when I'm in Fayetteville, you feel your boy. Still about my bread, still I think that's all that I enjoy. The way I get it, boy, lost, they gon' start to call him Elroy. Fuck his gang, pop out on them demons like I'm Hellboy.
Special.
This shit is endless, what I speak is the truth, I don't care if it's offensive. 12 rounds hit hard, and this shit gon' go the distance. Way to exit cool, but wait till you see the interest. Know that we them niggas when we walk inside the entrance. Put me as the GOAT, you should be honored to get a mention. All my clips is standard, but I still get extensions. Switch on the big 30, sound like when it's spittin'. Album so hot, I had to give them an extension. One West till they bury me, yeah, that's the commitment. Don't trust the soul, niggas purring or they hissing. Been winning so much, they didn't think I put the fix in. Get the game to go my way, they gon' thinking that I rigged it. If I say it in my raps, I would do it or I lived it. What you say in your raps is entertainment, you just kidding. Hard times, I got tired of being broke, so I fixed it. This pole get the job done, nigga, this is stick shit. What I speak is the truth, I don't care if it's offensive. The life that I chose, no turning back, we in this. They don't understand till we tell them no forgiveness. Rain on them, 40 days, 40 nights, shit is endless. What I speak is the truth, I don't care if it's offensive. This the life that we chose, no turning back, we in this. They don't understand when we tell them no forgiveness. Rain on them, 40 days, 40 nights, this shit is endless. Reincarnation, so you know this endless. I'm solidified and stamped, that's why I walk with a signet. Build it from the ground up, did it all independent. Don't put your head in my business.
All right, let's clap it up. Hey, Shalom Israel, y'all Bashim Yashab Barakatam to the brothers, y'all Shamar Latam Bashim Yashab to the sisters. We are the ISUPK, the Israelite School Universal Practical Knowledge, established in 1969, 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. We are not affiliated with any organizations.
That's
not Israelite, not religious, not this, that, or the third. And you know, some people just got to be patient with us, you know, when we about to start some of these classes, because it's, you know, sometimes men are talking, and you know, we gotta, in order for us to deliver the class and the proper message, you know, we gotta go through some things. But we got classes all the time, and it's not just Minnesota. I mean, you could always tune into Milwaukee, Chicago. It's important for the brothers and sisters who are interested in the truth to get involved with their community.
That's right.
So there's nothing wrong if you on the East Coast listening to the West Coast classes, but you should be involved with the East Coast schools.
Right.
Get involved with that neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? Get familiar with them. As the scriptures say, know those that labor amongst you.
Right.
It's important to get to know them as individuals instead of just living vicariously through social media. It's not going to translate the same way. So, this is Tuesday, Brotherhood class, Twin Cities, Minnesota, no Cowards, Minnesota.
That's right.
A lot of things have been happening lately. Rise in mass shootings. Police brutality is certainly nothing new. But we got it viewed in a different light in this situation, which isn't abnormal either. Like we can't pretend that this hasn't happened repeatedly in the past, where our own people with a badge on are beating our own people to death or shooting them dead on sight. That happened. That's happened before. It happens when you colonize a Negro's mind.
Right.
When you colonize a brother, when you colonize a sister, it happens when you oppress them, and they feel that that's the only outlet. So now, for them brothers, they got sentenced. They got sentenced.
And fired.
They got sentenced. They got fired. They were found guilty of the charges.
Right.
So now we're going to count that as justice, right? Select my phone. Notifications. We don't always see that as the result though, justice, when this happens, because it's happened amongst other people, and they still get to walk around, and they still got their jobs,
right?
Or they may have been fired, and they just get transferred, and not just in the police force too. You see that in the church, where they commit offenses, and instead of them being completely cut off from that community, from that congregation, they just get relocated, and it becomes a kind of a second thought, like we're just conditioned to forget about it. But it happens more often than not. Well, no, that's an over exaggeration. It happens, period. One is too many. 1,000 is never enough for them. And they don't just stop at one. It's a progression. They get the taste for it, which started with Cain and Abel, pretty much. It started from that first first recorded account of murder, and it's only vamped up since. And nowadays, because of all right, so General Hyman had brought up an excellent point too, as far as interviewing. What are they called? Police officers? Like, is that the technical term? Is it like safety?
As far as the man who killed the brother?
No, just as far as like their job title.
They're
peace officers? Is that?
Yeah.
Is it peace officers?
Peace officers?
Yeah. Police.
Yeah. Because I believe all the headlines been saying MPD, which is Memphis PD department.
Just like I know that they're like what's their documented title? Like that's something that I haven't checked in a while.
Oh, okay. I'll double check. Yeah, I'll double check.
Like when you interview, or when you give your references, your resume, and you talk about the past job that you worked, they ask for your job title,
right?
What you did. So I just want to clarify real quick, Shalaki, what their actual title is, because if it's peace officer, that example sure as hell that I don't think qualified or fit their documented designation. Like that was so above and beyond what a peace officer should be allowed to do. Because that brother was not attacking them. That brother was not being violent or disruptive, disorderly conduct. You got 3 different people. It's like it didn't start off with all 5 of them. You had 1, 2, 3 different people sitting there shouting at you orders under duress while you have already been complying, while they're beating you, telling you to do the thing that you have already been doing, but 3 of them are still shouting in your ear to lie in your stomach, to give them your hands, to stop resisting, to interlock your fingers, to this, that, and the third. All these different people giving you these commands under duress, beating the crap out of you. And the composure that brother had too, if you were to listen to the recording from the body cams, the composure that brother had.
It just keeps saying officers.
It says officers. That's it.
All of them, yeah. It just says officers.
All right. So their designation, because it wasn't always officer either.
Right.
Like they had changed up the title for these people many times.
Sheriff, chief.
And again, peace officers, and police officers, you know what I'm saying? Like they changed up the title of it.
Okay.
But the way that brother had held himself together before they had dealt like those final blows, that brother showed a lot of courage, a lot of, he showed brotherhood to them. Yeah, and that's the sick part that's about it. He wasn't resisting arrest. He was complying until he was getting violated. And then as a natural reaction, his body was moving against what they wanted him to do. So if somebody's got your arm bent a certain way, that your body does not bend like that. Your body is gonna want to react to that. And that's what the cops were responding to. That's what the officers were responding to. His body's just natural response to being contorted into something that the body doesn't do. For people that aren't contortionists,
right.
At the very least. People that don't perform that as a circus act. That was not a circus act that was being conducted at that stop. So those brothers, it's lucky to the men above me, Lord be with them. Lord allow they will see the error of their ways and they will repent from it, and they will never pull some shit like that again. They're never going to be allowed on the police force again. I'm sure. I would hope so, at least. They would never be allowed there. Just like Derek Chauvin. I don't think he's ever going to be accepted, in any capacity. And they shouldn't. These 5 brothers should not.
Right.
They should not have been there in the first place either. And prior to that, they shouldn't have went to the colleges that they went to. They shouldn't have participated with what are they called? Fraternities. The fraternities that they were involved with. They shouldn't have been involved with that. But that's the American dream, damn near, right there.
Right.
So that again, they can put us into subjugation. So now they can point that finger instead of. So now they can take it off of Derek Chauvin like he gets to breathe for a little bit. Zimmerman, we get to take the attention off him because that happened so long ago. So long ago. Some of y'all weren't even born. I got a daughter, 7 years old, barely born at that time. You know what I'm saying? So like it was so long ago that we should just forget about it. And now because this happened, all that attention can get diverted. Integration kills. And we're going to get into this.
That's right.
Integration kills. Because of integration, those brothers became police officers.
Right.
Against their own community. Under the mentality of our oppressor. They weren't doing it under the mentality of, for example, the ISUPK, under Commanding General Yohana, police in the community. That would not have happened. We are trained professionals, equipped with the tools to deal with those situations. And again, we're talking about a situation where that brother was not in any offense, in any understanding, a threat to those officers. He was abiding by the law when he got pulled over. First off, he wasn't breaking any laws when he got pulled over. And then when he had complied with the officer's request, he was not breaking any laws. He was not being aggressive towards them. Even after they started beating him, he was still complying. He was showing them brotherhood while they were trying to murder him. If you were to leave these tasks to the appropriate men, you know, you would see an accelerated decline in criminal activity, in murders, in senseless murders. You know, it's not like he came out the car shooting at him. And it almost would have been merciful if they'd have just put a bullet in his head. They beat that brother. If any of y'all seen the video, if any of y'all heard the recordings from the body cams, they took their time with this. It wasn't like a one-hit wonder, man. Like they were there for a minute. The video, they stood him up. If you see that, when they stood him up, they stood him up and swung for the fences. That one brother clapped him like 3 good times before he dropped. And he was still being brotherly towards the people that were trying to kill him, towards the people that were trying to murder him, brothers that was trying to murder him. Maybe this is far-fetched of a theory. And, you know, so again, selected to the men above me, and correct me if I'm wrong. Them brothers that murdered that brother, that good brother, it's like, what's his name? Tyree Nichols. Lord be with that man and his family. Lord be with that man's family. Salaki for the loss that y'all had to take at the hands of other black men. And I hope y'all understand what I'm about to say. Those brothers that murdered our brother, our son, our uncle, our father, our nephew, they would not have been in that position had it not been for Martin Luther King's dream. Integration kills. Back in the day, they never would have let some niggas on the police force. They never would have allowed that. But because of the hatred of integration, it opened that door for us to hate each other, for us to treat each other the way our oppressors treat us. And again, we say this time and time again, we hate each other the same way that we love our oppressor. We hate each other the same way we love our oppressor. Adamantly. Enthusiastically, we hate each other the way that we love our oppressor. That's what put these men in that position to do this to that man. And if you know what, looking at the situation, and then again, those brothers' affiliations, they never would have been allowed in those same schools to be a part of those fraternities in order to, again, gain this mentality. Integration kills. For us, at the very least. Because when's the last time that you've seen black officers beating Caucasians, Asians, Arabs, East Indians to death. We've seen them beat Hispanics to death. Like that has happened. We've seen them shoot Hispanics. We've seen them shoot blacks. We've seen that occur. When have we ever had an incident where they were beating like a white boy to death or an Asian man to death? But we don't see that. Not to say that it can't happen, but it sure don't like this. And this is not the first. Again, this is not the first case of it either. That brother in Milwaukee, Salaki, I can't remember his name right now, but that brother in Milwaukee that was shot dead, that was by another black officer.
How recent was that?
This was back.
Is this recent?
Yeah, it's some years ago. Not crazy long, but within the past.
You're talking about 2017, 2018, right?
Something like that. Something, man, I think even more recent than that. Probably 18, 19.
18, 19. Okay, I think I might know what you're talking about.
Yeah, because they started rioting in Milwaukee about it. Shit kicked up over in Washington Park.
Okay.
Off of Sherman, which where Adamon lives, DA.
Really?
Yeah, he lives like right in that neck of the woods.
I think I might know what you're talking about. Let me just confirm it right now for a second.
And again, we all remember the movie Boys in the Hood. When Trey got pulled over and that black cop was talking to him all types of ways.
Right.
All types of ways. You can thank Martin Luther King Jr. for that. You can thank him for that. Integration kills our communities. That's why we need to gather together. All right, so we're going to start off as F&I 2-1 as I traditionally do on Tuesdays for the Brotherhood class, because we need to gather together to avoid situations like this, so that we can work out any kinks, any problems, so that we can get this thing right, so that brothers ain't got to go to some oppressor's college, conform to an oppressor's way of life to get recognition. Because they always want to talk about like the connections that they're going to make, the stability it's going to provide, the fortune and fame that can come with that. Well, they famous now. Right. Shit, they famous now. Right. They famous for murdering, for beating another brother to death. Right. They famous for that. Cap or Phi Cap, like whatever, like I don't know what the hell what it was, but you can thank them for that. You can thank Martin Luther King Jr. for that. Right. And we're about to get into a month of Black History Appreciation Month, the shortest month in the year, which is kind of a spit in the face. Because what does it actually do? People are going to sell books. Amazon is about to make a lot of money on the book sales concerning Black History Month. Barnes and Nobles, Walmart, Google in itself, like there's about to be a lot of money switching hands. Preachers, pastors, the world over, they're about to bank on Black History Month because hey, they're Black and they're men of God. And it's Black History Month, so all of those 7 churches within a 3-block radius, like they're about to come up off that community, and that's literally how it is. Like listen, in Milwaukee, like I'm seeing it more and more in the Twin Cities, Minnesota area, St. Paul and Minneapolis. I'm seeing it more and more how close a lot of these churches are to each other. But literally in Milwaukee, you will see a cluster of churches, all different denominations, some of them even the same, but all different denominations in like a 3-4 block setup. They're all about to make money off of Black History Month. Because not like it's like somebody's birthday, where on that one day you're supposed to give and give and give to that person supposed to do whatever they want, give them whatever they want. You can't say no to them because hell, it's their birthday. They're damn near God at that point. So you can't say nothing against them. You got to give them everything. So now Black History Month is in that same spirit where you can't say no to them. When the passes around that collection plate, man, you better put something in it. You ain't got nothing to begin with. You didn't walk in the door with nothing. Right. You better make sure that you got something. So now you might have to steal from somebody else to go get that, so you can contribute to the Black History Month celebration. That's how they play us. And then, of course, everybody's going to feign sympathy and empathy when really they're apathetic. They're emotionless about it. Because, again, it happened so long ago. It happened so long ago. Our plight as a people in this country. Zephaniah 2:1, gather yourselves together, yea, gather together, O nation not desired. Verse 2, before the decree bring forth. And we're going to talk about that decree also in a second. Before the day pass as the chaff, before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you, before the day of the Lord's anger come upon you, we're supposed to gather together. Before all that happens, we're supposed to gather together. Now, before the decree, here's the fun part about it. If you go to Psalms chapter 2, verse, I'm going to start at, well, really we can start at 1. This can be one of the passages that's going to go on for a little bit. Psalms chapter 2, verse 1. Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? Again, look at the state of mind of our oppressors. Of all these heathen nations, they hold themselves not guilty. They're only, they're only here to, try to take care of their families, make a better future for their families, as they should. Nobody's arguing against wanting a better future for your kids, making some money so you can provide for your family. Ain't nothing wrong with that if you're doing it the right way.
Right.
But look at the way that they rage. They're so hardcore about never forget 9/11, never forget the Holocaust, all the different wars that they had been through with their parent company, from Britain, like the Revolutionary War, and then even the Civil War. The way that they rage and the way that they make war against everybody else that's offended them. When 9/11 happened, which, without going into like conspiracy theories, inside job, terrorist activity, the response was the same anyway. Even if it was an inside job, the response was the same way that it was if it was a terrorist act. Mm-hmm. So even if it was a terrorist act, the response was covered up the same way as even if it was an inside job. So whether it was or wasn't, their response was still the same way to that other nation that they had documented as being the guilty party. The way that they get involved in other nations' affairs. When 9/11 happened, for example, like where was NATO really? Where was China? Like, so like say it was, Bin Laden and the Taliban and all that. China wasn't going in there trying to bang against the Iranian, or were they Iranian or Iraqis? I'm not trying to say all Middle Eastern people look the same, but I do get them confused. My fault. They were from that neck of the woods. All them people from that neck of the woods, China didn't go bang on them for what they did in 9/11. The Elamites, the East Indians didn't do nothing. The Japanese didn't do nothing. The British didn't do nothing. The Australians didn't do. Germany didn't do nothing. America had to respond to that, but then we get involved in everybody else's problems. It's like just by this country that we live in. Do you think they're gonna lift a finger for what happened to Tyree Nichols? Is it like the Asian community when that incident happened, as traumatic as it was for that man and his family, do you think they're gonna lift a finger for Tyree Nichols? I don't. Maybe we'll get proven wrong. I don't know. I don't see that happening. So we need to focus. We need to keep a clear head about this and not get so emotional. Integration killed us. We still have to keep moving forward.
So like the hijackers were Islamic terrorists from Saudi Arabia and several other Arab nations.
All right, so they're Arabs. So from that neck of the woods, Ishmael. And they, you know, they know that they're Ishmaelites. So when we call them Ishmaelites, that ain't offensive. Like they know that they're Ishmaelites. Believe it or not, Chinese know that they're Moabites. They know that too. The other nations know their origin. And that Bible is that record. It's like a world almanac to an extent. It's I can tell you the rainfall in Cambodia, you know, in 1970, whatever the hell, but it's more or less a world almanac in the sense of, you know, just the records of the nations that the table of nations that propagated everything else that we see today. So again, we need to focus on gathering together as a people, despite everything that we have going on around us. So, not to take away from the situation, but despite the incident with Tyree Nichols, we got to keep it moving. Despite what Martin Luther King Jr. had done to our people, we got to keep it moving. Despite what Valentine's Day is about to do to our people, we got to keep it moving. We ain't done talking trash about Valentine's Day or MLK or this famed Black History Month. Like, we're just getting started. But all these other incidences pop up too that draw the attention off of some of the bigger issues. This brother's death, this brother's murder is a part of those bigger issues. That's why we titled this Integration Kills. It killed us. It killed our businesses. It killed our society. It killed our community. It killed our family home. It killed our practices. It killed our identity. We don't, I mean, look at the way we act as a result. How foolish and how naive our people are going to be throughout the month of February. And we have no control over the curriculum of the schools either that we send our kids to and what they're going to get exposed to as a result. It's a result of integration. We never would have been subjected to their curriculum had it not been for integration, had it not been for our desire to drink out of the same faucet as our oppressor. We would not be subjected to having to send our kids to the same schools learning the same thing. They're trying to erase the history of what their people had done. And they're trying to teach our people that, well, hey, again, it was that long ago. It's over now. We're all buddy-buddy. That's what they say, right? But is that what they do? And I'm not talking about the couple people that, you know, that you work with, that you play some poker or go to a pool hall, have a couple drinks with, you meet with at a laundromat, or you know, your bus drivers or your cabbies, your Uber drivers. Yeah, I don't think cabs exist anymore. I'm that old.
It's like even in New York,
I don't even think they exist no more.
I mean, Uber and Lyft is in the cab.
Killed it.
Yeah.
Killed it. Integration kills. You integrated, you know, Uber and Lyft, and well, actually, you know, and a lot of times it's still the same people driving.
That's very true.
Yeah, so
like it trans.
Yeah, pretty much. Just transferred over. Now that you think about it, it's still the same people driving, you know, behind the wheel in a lot of situations. So hey, again, they're not losing out in their market. We're losing out because we just feed that market. Gather together, O nation, or Slaki. Gather together, nation not desire. Again, we're in Psalms. The main point that I wanted to get to is, I believe, in 7. All right, so talking about the decree. Some of this is still very important, though. All right, so we're just going to try to run through this real quick. Psalms chapter 2, verse 1. Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? Verse 2. The kings of the earth set themselves. So now this is also indicative of what happened in when we talk about Psalms 83, how they had. Let me finish. The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together. They, their voting process. They, as a people, they decide who's going to be king, who's going to be the leaders, and Republican or Democrat or Independent or Green Party, whatever the hell they got going on nowadays. Liberals, conservatives, lefts, right, knick-knack, paddywhack. The kings of the earth set themselves. So, like, if you're in a high rank, if you already have like an established, reputation or position in the community, you can set yourself king. You can murder everybody else that may be your competitors because you're, you know what I'm saying, like you're that top dog already. So you can set yourself as king. And the rulers take counsel thereof. So that dude that makes him the ruler over here, that dude that makes him a ruler over here, or even old girl that puts herself up on that pedestal that everybody else wants to push because how would I say? Well, shit, because she's a queen. And last week, didn't we go over the definition of a queen? Didn't we identify what a queen was? Go back to the last class. I think we did over Sabbath service and it was last week?
Your class.
All right, count. So just go back to last Tuesday and you're going to see us read the definition of what a queen is. So you got your queens out there alongside your kings. I'm sure, like, it shouldn't be that hard to understand that relationship either. Kings, he gets his horse. A queen, that's just the bottom female dog. We got a phrase for this. It's sensitive to some ears. But these kings, the kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed, saying, let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. So the rulership that we have over all these other nations, that's what they're rallying against, because we have this authority to do so under the Most High. So they're fighting God. And us being the representation of God on earth, the authority, the justice system, the judicial, legislative, and executive branches of the Most High power of Israel on earth. They were trying to cast those bands asunder. They were trying to take those cords off of them because we ruled at that time. We were the authority back in the day. Believe it or not, niggas, spics, and savages ran. So-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we ran things.
Right.
We were the not only the authoritative figure, we were the ruling class of people. Even our and not to minimize anybody's position. But I guess to bring it to some modern terms, the janitors of the kingdom of Israel would be better than the elites of the heathen in the kingdom. So those people that they may hold themselves, hold their heads up high and, sneer at us from a distance and, walk past us on the block, kind of snickering to one another when we talk about the crimes that they've committed. And they like, believe it or not, that they're joking about things as they're walking by camp. They're joking about things. They're having a good laugh amongst themselves at our expense, at our historical expense. They don't forget it. They don't forget that they run things. Why are we to forget that they oppress us? Because, like, when it still happens, if it stopped happening, I could see the argument to, let it go. I could see that argument. Has it stopped happening? Have they stopped brainwashing 5 future police officers indoctrinated in Greek fraternity customs to turn against their people? Has that stopped? Or did that just happen within the last week?
Right.
No, that just happened. That wasn't 100 years ago. That brother who shot that other brother in Milwaukee, again, Salaki for not remembering their names off top, but that black man, that black cop who shot that brother in Milwaukee, that wasn't 100 years ago. That was a lot more recent than people want to recognize. Verse 3, let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. Verse 4, he that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh. The Lord shall have them in derision. Like he's not going to forget about it neither. And don't act like, let's not pretend that just because they're how would I say? Don't lose faith because it hasn't happened yet. That's part of keeping your faith. That this is going to happen. It's prophesied to happen. It hasn't happened yet. Don't forget this. They're not going to forget. We can't forget. And in the UPK, the Commanding General Yana, we're not going to forget. We're gonna move forward accordingly. And the way that we're going to battle integration is by galvanizing each other, our communities. And there's nothing wrong with that. Every other nation does it. They patronize each other, as they should. That's expected. Why don't we? Everybody else takes advantage of our customs and our culture. Damn near accept us. And if we were to, we would see that rise in, prosperity in our community. Yeah.
So like 23-year-old Seville Smith.
Yep, that's his name.
2016.
Yep, 2016.
Yeah, and that's what I was talking about. So like, if I may show you something.
Yeah, come. So like, I had the date wrong. He was a little bit earlier.
Yeah, it was 2016. So
and then that kicked off a whole mess on the north side, man.
Yeah, so the date was August 13th. I have an Instagram post on our page from August 14th, 2016. Is that it? That's it. Where there was riots.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
The only thing is I didn't mention the name on there. But it says right here, it says if I may, so like
All
right, so like 2016 Milwaukee riots. On August 13th, 2016, a riot began in the Sherman Park neighborhood in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, sparked by the fatal police shooting of 23-year-old Seville Smith. During the 3-day turmoil, several people, including police officers, were injured and dozens of protesters arrested. A nightly curfew was set up for teenagers in the area. Smith was running on foot and armed with a stolen handgun when he was shot. Smith and the officer who fired the fatal shots, Dominique Hagan Brown, were both African American. Of course, they have to mention that.
Yeah.
Video from the officer's body cam.
It's like they gotta make sure that they mention that.
Right.
And in a lot of other instances, they don't really mention the races. If it was blacks and whites or Hispanics and Asians, this, that, and the third, they don't really mention that initially until the further investigations come out, and then they finally bring out the full story. But they made sure that they mentioned this.
Video from the officer's body cam showed that Smith had turned with the gun in his hand toward the officer just before the officer shot him. Brown, the officer, was criminally charged with Smith's death and acquitted at trial. This was the first homicide charge against a Milwaukee police officer in over a decade. A civil lawsuit is currently pending. Now, so like if I may say something, you mentioned something about what's going on in Memphis right now, right? As far as how these cops pretty much got charged very fast.
Yeah.
Ask yourself this question, right? How long did it take for the trial to happen with Trayvon's Martin killer?
Too damn long. Yeah, that went on. Like,
how about George Floyd?
Yeah, that
almost 2 years.
Yeah, that just got
George
settled
Floyd.
a little bit ago.
Let me see.
Yeah, this was like an open shut case.
Exactly.
Yep.
And that's my point. Now in Minnesota, right? So although blacks are not Africans, I hope you heard me, very straightforward. Black, so-called Negro, so-called African Americans, right? We are not Africans. The so-called Negro is not related to the Africans whatsoever. You can say that we came from the motherland, we were slaves there. We actually used to live there at one point, but that's not where we're from. We was living there under a situation, all right, for a time. But a Somalian had killed an Australian white woman in Minnesota. This was a few years ago. Right? That trial and that conviction was ASAP. He got charged and he went behind bars because of that. They wasted no time when it came to this so-called black man who was really an African killing this white woman. They put him behind bars and they convicted him, charged him right away. But meanwhile, George Floyd killer, it took time. He had paid leave.
Yep.
He was just, living his life. Zimmerman, who was not a police officer, who was supposed to be the neighborhood watch,
Right.
and the police told him,
Right.
the operator told him, do not follow that man.
Okay.
And George Zimmerman decided to kill this brother because of the hatred that he has against black people.
And then he profited off that gun. He sold
I was just say that he optioned off that gun that he used to kill Trayvon Martin. And what happened? He did it because of the pride, because he knew that nobody could touch him.
Yep.
Nobody can do anything to him. You better understand this. You better listen to the ISUPK when we tell you that the oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of.
You better listen.
You better really listen to that. The pride and the evil of these people that we are dealing with, you got to understand who the hell you're dealing with.
Right.
They are the enemy. They are not your friends. And I pray that you really don't understand. Because once it happens to you, you will finally understand.
The hard way.
But if you look at these brothers and sisters who are dying round about you in these different cities and states, you don't know them. No sweat, but those are your people. No matter what their condition is, those are still your people. You should still have love for them. All right? Go ahead.
He that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh. This is Psalm chapter 2, verse 4. The Lord shall have them in derision.
Right.
Like, this ain't done. This ain't over with. It ain't going to be like this forever. This is why we have to endure until the end.
Right.
Don't lose your shit now.
Right.
Saying select for the language. Don't lose control. Stay focused.
Right.
Stay focused. Stay disciplined. Stay driven. Listen, get to this school, man. Galvanize with these brothers and sisters, man. You'll never know what this is like until you actually, come back home. Otherwise, everybody's just gonna have their own conclusion or their own conspiracy theory on what the UPK is. We are described as a hate group in the SPLC, the Southern Poverty Law Center handbook, or in their database. We are considered a hate group. because we say that our oppressor is the goddamn devil that the Bible speaks of.
That's right.
And that the Lord is gonna put them to dust.
That's right.
And you know what I'm saying? The Lord is gonna destroy them. Not that we are gonna pick up, illegal firearms and go murder some this, that, and the thirds. We're saying that the Lord is gonna destroy this nation. That's prophesied in the Bible. We're just reading the Bible. We're just reading the Bible. We're a hate group because we're reading the Bible. Literally. We've got community programs, GED programs, prison programs, job resume building programs. You know what I'm saying? We've got medic programs. We've got security detail programs to train our brothers how to deal with mental health issues, how to deal with life-threatening situations according not only to the law but to the laws of God. Not according to how we feel about things, which is how they act. We just saw less than a week ago, they dealt with that situation how they felt. Because while they were pouncing on that brother, he wasn't putting his hands behind his back fast enough while they had his hands cuffed behind his back. They already had his hands. They already had him subdued. But they're telling him to put his hands behind his back. Again, if you've never been arrested, then you're not going to know what we're talking about here. When they put you in such a physically compromising position to where your body has, like, for self-survival, your body is going to want to move. It's going to have to move a certain way to try to make that a little bit more comfortable. When they're putting you in like a 90-degree, 45-degree arm bar. They're putting you in a flipping Kimura. And then they're telling you to put your hand behind your back. You're fighting against them, breaking popping your shoulder out of its socket, breaking your arm in half. But they're telling you to put your arms, behind your back, give them your hands. He was already doing that. He was already on the ground. He was already on the ground when they were telling him to get on the ground. If you've never been subjected to police brutality or even any type of scrutiny by law enforcement officials, you'll never know what that situation is like. When they're telling you to do, when they've already forced you to do what they're telling you to do, and while you're compliant. And Tyree Nichols showed brotherhood to them cops. And he got treated with hatred. Because that's what they were programmed for. Because they were Delta Xi Kappa Theta, like I can't remember what association that they got. It doesn't matter. Any of them is wrong. It doesn't matter that specific fraternity that they had that affiliation with. All of them are wrong for us. It's right for them because that's them.
Right.
They are the Romans. They are the Greeks. You know what I'm saying? Like before they became British and German and French and blah blah Portuguese and Spanish, they were the Romans and the Greeks. It started before that. They're already just kind of living their identity. Integration kills. When we conform to that, when we accept that, we end up murdering each other.
Right.
And as a result, Psalm chapter 2, verse 4, he that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh. Them people that are in them seats in Congress, in all their political titles, they sitting there laughing at us. The Lord shall have them in derision. You know what I'm saying? And also, he that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh. Like the Lord ain't gonna play no games with them either. And it's like I'm using this kind of manifold. They were trying to gather together. They were trying to just like Donald Trump's Space Force. They were trying to gather together so they can combat the Lord. Well, he that sitteth in heaven is laughing at them too. The same way that they are sitting in their seats of power laughing at us, The Most High sitting in His seat of power, laughing at them. Why they laughing at us? The Lord is gonna have them in derision. It ain't gonna be like this forever. But you can't give up. You can't give up. Like I know it. I know it's rough. I know it sucks. I know this ain't. This is not an ideal lifestyle for anybody. We're with you. That's why we have this little sanctuary. That's why we got this school. That's why the Lord put it on them seven heads on the apple business. That's why He kept this. That's why He kept these records intact. That's why we got these records. That's why we got these books, so that we can catch our bearings, and that we don't stray from the path based off of emotions.
Right.
You know what's gonna kill them? You know what's gonna bring this country to its knees? If we stop buying and selling drugs. If we stop committing crimes against anybody, it ain't gotta just be against us. You're not allowed to commit if you're an Israelite, so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, you're not allowed to commit a crime against the heathen nation. You're not allowed to. Just because your pockets are empty, just because you in a pinch, you got some bills to pay. You're not allowed to break God's laws just to satisfy those carnal needs. But that's what them brothers did. They satisfied their carnal needs, and they broke hella laws. Not only the laws of the land, but they broke God's laws against the brother. Thank Martin Luther King Jr. for that. Thank Martin Luther King Jr. for that. Integration kills. And we're going to experience a hell of a lot more of this come a couple weeks from now. Valentine's Day, right around the corner. You know how many crimes get committed on Valentine's Day? It gets crazy. It escalates so fast. In the whoredom, the adultery, the fornication that gets committed on top of it. It ain't got to just be somebody robbing somebody else just so that you can buy some chocolate and some cheap ass teddy bear from Walgreens for your mom. You know, it don't just stop there, because they want to take them out to dinner too. At least they want to buy I don't know if y'all remember those them old TV dinners. You know, they've stepped it up a couple times. You know, since then. So you got your Hungry Man's and oh damn it, you know, Betty Crocker's and you know, you want to buy them one of the more like the $7 microwave dinner versus like that $3 one. Like they got to afford that too. On top of that box of chocolates from the gas station. And America's about to make so much money off of it. Not just their Fortune 500 companies, but off of the crimes that we are going to commit against each other. Going back to Zephaniah 2:1, when it talks about before the decree, we're going to get into this. Psalms chapter 2, I'm just going to skip down right now. To verse 7. I will declare the decree. And this is what the decree is. The Lord hath said unto me, Thou art my son. This day have I begotten. So that decree is us being, you know, again, that chosen people. This didn't just occur in Psalms. This happened, if you go back to Deuteronomy, if you go back to Adam, you know what I'm saying? You're going to see how we were that chosen people. He's just talking about how, just how we are the chosen people. Just that black and white. I was going to try to come up with a fancy terminology for it. It's just that damn simple. We are God's chosen people. Everybody else can suck it. Slack. Everybody, who cares? Who cares about them? We are God's chosen people. Everybody else can go kick rocks. It's just that simple. Verse 8, ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost part of the earth for thy possession. This is part of that decree, that we are that chosen people. And when we act accordingly, listen, we're going to have everything handed to us. We're going to be in charge and in control of all these different nations, of all of everything that they've amassed, and everything that they've profited off of it, especially at our backs, off our blood, sweat, and tears. We're going to gain control of everything. We're going to be the authority on the earth. We're going to be that first class nation above everybody else. And thus say Deuteronomy 7:6. Verse 9, thou shalt break them with a rod of iron, thou shalt dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel. That's thus saith the Lord. That's their faith. Because you think like the people that profited off of human trafficking and off of murder and off of drugs and off of extortion and blackmail, this, that, and third, do you think they're going to give up their position of power peacefully? Their governments, their militaries, their armies, they're going to have to get destroyed. Has to. It has to be destroyed. America needs to burn. NATO needs to burn. The UK needs to be destroyed.
Right.
Otherwise, if you leave it in their hands, everything in their mom is going to be on the endangered species list. That's why they're trying to colonize Mars. Like, they messing up the Earth so damn bad, they're trying to get a whole new ecosystem going where they can control it more. You know, with technology and machines and robots and all that, and AI, all that fun stuff. Ask Elon Musk, he knows stuff. Verse 10, be wise now, therefore, O ye kings, be instructed, ye judges of the earth. Like this, y'all better pay attention. Everybody better pay attention. The kings and the judges of Israel, the kings and the judges of the Irish, of the Slavs, of the Ukrainians, of the Russians, of the Chinese, of the whatever. Like, y'all better pay attention. You better be smart about this. Be wise. Verse 11, serve the Lord with fear and rejoice with trembling. Listen, you better be happy if you're breathing. You better be happy if you're waking up every morning. You don't take that for granted. Don't take advantage of that. And you better do everything in subjugation and servitude of the Most High. Embrace that fear. It's gonna get hell. It's gonna give you some motivation because you're gonna want to live, right? It's gonna keep you motivated. Embrace that fear. Be wise. You know what I'm saying? Like, pay attention to what these preaching prophets are telling you. Mm-hmm. This is going to happen. It's not that it's like it's a possibility, and we're not flipping the coin. We're not rolling some dice. We're not taking statistics. Trying to figure out what the chances are, what the percentage is that the Lord is going to destroy this world for the crimes that they've committed against Israel and humanity. You know, this is happening. And we're seeing it with the transformation of brothers and sisters that are coming from the streets into the truth, giving up that form of life, taking every brother. You know what? I'm gonna look up. People like stats. I'm gonna look this up later. I'm gonna have this for next class. For next Tuesday, I'm gonna have this information for next class. Come on. For trembling. Come. We serve the Lord in fear, with fear, and rejoice with trembling. We're going to see how the quality of life changes. And again, this is abroad. Shouldn't nobody be homeless? Shouldn't nobody be living in tunnels, like in the sewers, like the whole LA mole people, I think it was Las Vegas mole people, something like that. Las Vegas, yeah, like their whole mole people like community, like they're living in abandoned sewers where sewage used to go down. Some of them where sewage still goes down. We talking about getting rid of that standard of living. Now, people still want to do drugs and engage in prostitution and fornication and Listen, like this ain't gonna be tolerated. Yo, y'all better learn. Y'all better be smart about this, man. Psalm chapter 2, verse 12. Kiss the son. Talking about Ali, talking about Yahweh. That is his son. Like this was like a future prophecy. Kiss the son, lest he be angry and ye perish from the way when his wrath is kindled but a little. Don't even piss him off a little bit. Don't make him mad even a little bit. Get it together before all this. This is all still part of that decree that we were talking about in Zephaniah 2 and 2. 2 and 2. Before the decree. This is still all talking about that decree. Before all of this has to happen, we need to gather together as people so we can discuss these issues, get down to the brass tacks, and again, keep it moving. Can't lose focus. Don't lose traction. Don't lose momentum. Because the church has got telethons and damn, what's the term? You know, they got the mega churches, televangelists. That's what it is.
You said what?
Telethon. Telethon. they got those too, I'm sure. I'm sure they got that in the base. They probably got some, 10-year-old, Filipino kid, answering the phone down there. Yeah, it's like they got the televangelists. They're reaching millions of viewers. You know what I'm saying? Making hella money off of it. They don't need a building that goddamn big, especially if you can reach it online. Like we're online right now. Our establishment, we're not doing this from a mansion, but we can still reach, a limited amount of people. And we're not telling them to go sow $1,000 seed, but you better pay your damn tithes. And I don't want to hear nothing about corn because you're not sending corn either. Like you better kick it up. You better send that thing up the ladder, man. And if you got any donations, got a little extra, bread in your pantry, hey, send it forward, man. Kick them chips in, man. Blessed are they that put their trust in Him. You don't want to piss them off a little. Get it right now before the decree. Before we got to see it pop off, because by then it's gonna be too late. Like that bumper sticker that you got. If you're reading this, you're too close. If you're seeing the lake of fire, if you're seeing the lake of fire, it's too late, bro. Just chalk that one up. Close your eyes. They'll be open again. You're gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay. Just do better next time. And Lord allow you're gonna wake up in a whole new environment. Where again, we're not gonna be celebrating no Martin Luther King Jr. birthday. So they did the birthday in January. We got that Black History Month in February, the shortest month. Oh, it's already that time. Ugh, it's already that time.
Oh yeah, it's slave.
Slave history. And they're trying to wean us off, trying to wean it out of the curriculum in schools. Like I remember in school, like where we used to talk about this. We used to actually have like kind of engaged conversation, and it was so sensitive. Like there were some points that I was bringing up with another brother that I was good. Well, I was friends with that. But you can't say certain things without people getting in their chest about it. You can't have an open and honest communication when they're trying to lie. Just like the churches. You can't ask the pastor about the contradictions that he taught of the Bible while he's trying to lie to you about it. You can't talk about it. It's a rough thing to talk about Martin Luther King when everybody else is still talking about the lies that he had prophesied. When we can see it clearly outlined in the scriptures. We're gonna go to count out of one. I don't know. He is prophesied in the Bible. And he sure as hell could not, unless he was just being that arrogant with it, he could not have known the scriptures. Otherwise, he would have seen this. Because this is what he's quoting right now.
I got it. I'm here for so make sure that you use me.
I just put the shirt.
Oh, no, so, no, yeah, anybody. Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 25. I have heard what the prophet said, that prophesied lies in my name.
I mean, he sure as hell was a prophet according to the Christianity, right? I mean, he was a man of God. You know, his message was so uplifting and so motivating and so like yeah, right on. You know, everybody was there to witness it and be a part of it, and it was so engaging and so captivating. It was so charismatic and enthusiastic about what he was teaching. He must have been a prophet, right? He was this kind of prophet. So,
I've heard what the prophet said, that prophesies lies in my name.
he was a prophet. He was prophesying lies in the Lord.
Saying, I have dreamed. I have dreamed.
How did that famous speech go? How did that go? Can we pull up a quote? How did that go? I think it vaguely sounds something similar to what Jeremiah had prophesied. I think his speech said something about something.
MLK speech. I have a dream.
That's the main point.
Yeah. I have a dream.
I have a dream. I have a dream.
Yeah.
That sounds vaguely familiar to what Jeremiah was prophesying about these liars. And then what else did it say in 26 now?
Come. Verse 26. How long shall this be in the heart of the prophets that prophesy lies?
Because at the end of it, when it was way too late, he had reneged on that original speech that he had given. And again, we talked about this in like the last the last class too, about the witness to his statement of how he had felt that he was integrating people into a burning house, and how he was introducing them to a night.
2 to 3 years.
Yeah, kind of
All the movements.
right after the damage was done, after the ashes were after the ashes were formed, then it hit him. Then it hit him like, oh shucks, I think I did something wrong. So like, oh darn it! Like finally, it hit him. Like finally, he realized that he had done something wrong after the damage was done. After he had already integrated us. If you notice how he said it in that quote, I feel that I've integrated my people. Not that I'm integrating, or not that I'm about to integrate. He was speaking past tense. He already did the damage. He already set that house on fire. He already put us in danger. And we celebrate his birthday every year. Imagine that. Imagine that. And he was found guilty of being a hypocrite. And he was found guilty of being a liar. And he was found guilty of being an extortionist and a thief and a cheat and a fornicator and a homosexual. He was found guilty. But that's our influence. Like what a joke. That's who we idolize. Because he said, I had a dream, I had a dream. Well, the Bible just quoted him. Prophets that prophesy lies in the Most High name, saying, I had a dream, I have a dream. They just quoted Martin Luther King Jr. Man. He was a prophet of lies. And he endangered our people. And he profited as a result. Integration kills.
That's right.
We die because of integration.
That's right.
We fail our communities as a result of integration. We fill up the prison systems because of integration. We're on crack cocaine because of integration. We're on fentanyl. We're ODing off of heroin and crystal meth and cocaine because of integration. We smoke Newports because of integration. That's what he gave us. We're about to celebrate Valentine's Day because of integration. Again, look at the body counts. Take a look at it yourself. Don't just take my review for it. Look at the body counts yourself. Google it on yourself. How many suicides happened during Valentine's Day? Like in Valentine's Day. Look at that. Look at the suicide rate. But just across the board. Take this off of Israel from them. Take this, like, and people want to say skin tone this, skin tone that. No, ain't got nothing to do with skin tone. Take this off the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian communities from it. Take it off of Israel for a minute. Across the board, how many people are about to blow their damn brains out because of Valentine's? Murder is wrong on any level, on any degree. Murder is wrong. Suicide is wrong. That's also an offense to the Most High. But look at the conditions that those people are under to commit that act. You don't get to take your own life because some dumb broad that you've been chasing tail for that's gonna give it up to somebody else, and you get your feelings hurt. Don't want you. You don't get to do that. But look how many people have done it. Take a guess. If you look at just the average, if you just look at the median of it, how many people do you think are gonna in 2 weeks? In 2 weeks, guess how high that body climb is gonna count. Suicides, homicides. How many more people are gonna be sentenced to prison for life? Or for 3 to 5, 5 to 10 for strong arm robbery. Integration kills.
Right.
It was never supposed to happen. If we are to sustain Israel, brothers, we need to gather together. Sisters, we need to gather together. Zephaniah 2:1 holds true today as it did thousands of years ago. These records ain't here for no reason, man. Like we can. This is the blueprint, and we better not ignore it. What did we just read? What did we just read a little bit ago? Serve the Lord with fear and rejoice with trembling. Man, you better pay attention. You better get right with this. All your misgivings about it, no sweat. No sweat. Gather yourselves together, yeah, gather together, O nation I desire. You got something to say about it. Listen, the doors are open. You can communicate with us right now on social media. As we are having these live classes, while you're watching it on YouTube or on Facebook or on Clubhouse, whatever the platform is, you can communicate with us right now if you got something to say. You can always call in Across the Line Radio every Thursday. Was it 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, 10 p.m. East Coast? You can always call in any questions, comments, or concerns that you might have. Like, share, subscribe to the media, to the different media platforms, social media platforms that we got. Again, name it. You even got the new one, MeWe. You know what I'm saying? Name it. We're on. We're not hard to find. ISUPK.com. The website has been revamped. And I know Captain Kakazar is in the process of a new streaming app. On some FUBU, ish. For us, by us. Yeah, he's gonna have all that. Like you want all that knowledge. You want like all the contentious points too. Even like if people just want to battle, if you're looking for a fight, we're here. We like fighting too, but we're not doing it for vanity. What did I say before? In Psalms, why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? We're not doing this because it's a good look, even though we look good. We're not doing it because it's for fame and clout chasing and prosperity, even though that comes in total. We're doing this because it's the truth, and people don't like to hear the truth, and they want to philosophize about like everything else under the sun. I was in this clubhouse room. I couldn't understand half of the terms that they were saying, and they were using like I didn't have enough time to even pull up the definitions, but even when I asked them, they said it's not really like this, but that it was an oversimplification the way that I presented. Like, are people either arguing that we're in the matrix and how to see our way out of it, or how to properly perceive the world, or is it just people living their own truths? That's essentially what it was. They're arguing for just people living their own truths, like the concept of your perception of reality, like what's real, what's fake. And again, some of the terms that they had used, that I'll read the dictionary through and through from cover to cover one day. Maybe I'll understand what the hell they think that they mean, but it's not that complicated. The truth is not complicated at all. There's simplicity in Christ, and the truth shall make you free. It ain't got to be all this hoopla, man. It's not that crazy. It's a relatively simple concept. Do what you're told. And what we were told to do is not to be criminals, not to be liars, not to be cheapskates, not to be corrupt cops that's gonna, 5-on-1 beat a man to death. Murder a brother. You ain't supposed to murder nobody, let alone your own people. The other nations know that, well, except for our oppressor, because he murdered everything under the sun, especially his own and especially us. But he don't, I want y'all to understand this something too. Primarily, the victims of our oppressor is so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians, and white. Predominantly, those are the victims of their oppression. Because if they were to oppress so-called East Indians or Elamites, if they were to oppress and murder and bodies just going up missing of the Moabites or the Ammonites, so-called Chinese and Japanese, if they were to treat as heinous as they treat so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, that they do so-called Arab Ishmaelites, they've got a whole nation behind them that will go to war with America on their behalf if these crimes were happening to them as often as they happen to us. Now, they can murder their own people because, well, hell, they're self-governed. So who's going to charge them? They're not going to be able. They're not going to dude. You think Edomites are going to run over to Moabites because Edomites are killing each other? You think the Moabites are going to care? No, they're not. They're going to say, well, that's a y'all problem. We dealing with our own thing over here. When they start murdering us the same way that they murdering you, then we'll do something. Then we'll act on it. Now, who do we complain to? We complain to the same people that are murdering us, asking for justice. You think they're going to turn themselves in? You get like one, like and this is an exaggeration of this. You get like 1 in a million. Derek Chauvin was like, I mean that was like a lottery ticket, damn near, for him getting convicted, for justice being provided. Now there was a lawsuit also, or not the lawsuit, but there was what's the term? That the family had been given some a monetary contribution, monetary settlement. I think it was like $27 million, something like that. It was a good chunk of change. That didn't bring that brother back. That did not provide justice. Derek Chauvin should be dead right now, not sitting in prison. He should be dead right now. He got convicted of murder. He should be dead as a result, not sitting in jail. They done raised some money for dude too. They had a GoFundMe for old boy. They had a GoFundMe for Kyle Rittenhouse too. That devil that shot up other devils in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Kind of forget. All right, damn, that one thing about Paul that I wanted to bring up.
I got you.
All right, kind of Galatians.
Yeah.
All right.
Galatians chapter 1, verse 13.
Now this is the more or less the history of those police officers. We got another brother in our history that was from a similar cloth. The way that he had been brought up, the way that he had lived his life was in tow with these men. This brother repented though and changed his life. Lord allow these brothers will see that also.
Right.
Salaki,
Let's look. Galatians chapter 1, verse 13. For ye have heard of my conversation in time past in the Jews' religion,
Like again, you heard about my rep, more or less. Yeah.
how that beyond measure I persecuted the church of God and wasted it.
How he had murdered, how he had killed, how he had committed crimes against God, against the chosen people, which again, that's his people too. He was an Israelite also, but right here. He's professing how. Listen, this is how I used to live. You heard about me. Like he was again reputable. They heard about him. They knew about the things that he had done, the crimes past. You have heard my conversation in times past in the Jewish religion, how that beyond measure. Like he must have went. If it were nowadays, he'd have been like the chief of police because of the things that he had done. So like, you get it.
Verse 14. And profited in the Jews' religion above many my equals and mine own nation.
So again, of his own nation, his own equals in his own nation, because of the things the lengths that he went to persecute the church of God and to waste it. The things that he had done. Again, he would have been like the chief of police. He'd have been like the sheriff, the commissioner, the mayor, damn near. You know, if it was nowadays, because of all the effort, the time, energy, and effort he put into persecuting the church of God. So I continue.
Being more exceedingly zealous of the traditions of my father.
So now his fathers, he was a Sadducee. Where's so like my fault. I always get them kind of backwards with this. But he was from that way of life. So the people that he had studied from, that's where you saw more of his father's life.
So Paul was Pharisee.
The Pharisee, all right, kind of. All right, kind of. So, but when he's saying from of the traditions of my fathers, he's talking about like that school of thought that he was taught from. The traditions of my fathers. That's how he was raised to persecute, to condemn, because they were so zealous against the Messiah.
His family was Pharisee.
Kind of.
So that's why he was a Pharisee.
Kind of. They were zealous against them losing their seat of power. They were zealous against the changing of the guard. They were zealous against their authority being of that priesthood being transferred over, the authority now being given to our king. Because as a conglomeration, as like a Fortune 500 company, which is what like the Sadducees and Pharisees were back in that time, you know, they controlled everything. They were like that top 1%. You know what I'm saying? Like they controlled how everything moved, how people lived, how they died. They were exacting the laws. They murdered Christ in accordance with their laws. You know what I'm saying? That right here, Paul could have been one of those cops in his former life.
Right.
Lord allow, and these brothers, listen. Where is it? These brothers better, Psalms 2 and 11, they better serve the Lord with fear and rejoice with trembling. And with that, we are the Israelite School University Practical Knowledge, established in 1969, on West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. We are led by Commander General Young. We're going to get into the security announcements. Rule for new brothers and sisters. When a new brother and sister comes into the school, they're off limits for 6 months. They'll be saluted only. They're here to set themselves to the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find it in Numbers chapter 18, verse 21, and Malachi chapter 3, verses 8 through 10. Means 10th in the heat, Maishor. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the Treasury Department of teachers. Priest fund, federal offering for priests, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you would like. So now again, the website is back up and running. You get like your donation button, tithes, Passover payments coming up. $200 per adult, 17 and older is what we're considering for the adult age group. 17 and older, $200. Everybody in their mouth. You can go to ICPK.com. If you got the Zelle app, the first name Israelite School, last name UPK. Email tags at ICPK.com. And there's always like the note buttons anytime you make these payments, so that you can give a description and designate what those funds are being used for. Each fund, Passover, tithes, donations for what have you. If you got the Cash App, for example, $, UPK Minnesota, all cash. You can send any money to us for, like, we have a Purim coming up, March 5th and March 6th. March 5th at sundown through March 6th at sundown. We all, camp equipment, things like that. If you ever wanted to send any money towards us, we're not going to turn it away. Otherwise, get in contact with the school near you and see what their payment options are. If there's any accommodations that you need met, or if there's any contributions that you could make, and be in contact with them. Because again, the upcoming Holy Convocations, we got Purim coming up March 5th at sundown and March 6th at sundown. Get in contact with the school near you. We got Passover, the Lord's 54th annual Passover coming up, starting April 1st at sundown until April 2nd at sundown subsequently. And then after that, immediately we got the Feast of Unleavened Bread. So that's going to stretch on for 8 days. Start getting, maybe some of that leavening out of your house now, so that you're keeping ahead of it. Get all your hotel arrangements, your travel arrangements, get that solidified, so you're not left in the dust having to pay a crazy amount at the last minute. Try to get everything done ahead of time. And check in with the bulletin boards, check in with the social media platforms of the school that you might be associated with. And keep an eye on any events that might be coming up. Community events, high holy days, things of that nature. Any brother wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black. That means your boots, your shirt, your pant, headband, and or a scarf. With that, I'm Magni, once we stand upon Yakudam, turn the face east for us, it's in this direction. The Lord's Prayer in Hebrew. You can find it in Matthew chapter 6, verse 8 through 13. Abanaw, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Hayah, Samkat, Yahweh, Malakutka, Taba'at, Batazaka, Hayah, Haisha, Darataza, Tuwa, Hayah, Bashaman, Thundanaw, Lakom, Ko, Yawam, Wasalakanaw, Kamawaknaw, Kasalaknaw, Kabawaki
Wakina,
Wala, Tabiana,
Lina,
Banasawan,
Sawan,
Abo,
Paul,
Kawashana,
China,
Mayan,
Mayan,
Right,
Right,
Kaya,
Tia,
Laka,
Cut,
Malakwa,
Malakwa,
Ma'al, Wakata Power,
Rock,
Lawalan,
Malam,
Aman.
Aman,
In English, our Father,
our Father,
which art in heaven,
your name,
hallowed be thy name.
of thy name,
Thy kingdom come,
kingdom come,
that will be done
that will be done,
in earth as it is in heaven.
as in heaven.
Give us this day our daily bread,
Give us this day our daily bread,
and forgive us our debts,
our debts,
as we forgive our debtors.
as we forgive our debtors.
And lead us not into temptation,
Lead us not into temptation,
but deliver us from evil.
but deliver us from evil.
For thine is the kingdom,
Thine is the kingdom,
and the power,
power,
and the glory,
glory,
forever.
forever.
So be it. All right, bless this run of the evil. Yahweh Shemi Yahushua,
Now what's your name? Shah,
Baraklanah,
Rock the Now,
Wayashah,
Shah,
Wabaya,
Mawaya,
Sapar,
Safari,
Barak,
Barak,
Wabaa,
Mafa'ah,
Magan,
Magan,
Magan.
Magan.
Now, at this time, you can say the name of the loved one once. Everyone repeats that name. If you follow us on social media, you can type in the name of the loved one, and the prayers up with you.
Yahweh,
Slack. Yahweh.
Yahweh Shah,
Yahushua.
angels,
Angels.
the generals,
The general.
captains,
Captain.
officers,
Officers.
troopers,
Troopers.
students,
Students.
sisters,
Sisters.
children,
Children.
all of Israel,
All of Israel.
Shannon,
Shannon.
the Rollins family,
Rollins family.
the Daniel family,
David family.
the Wagner family,
Wagner family.
the Slaughter family,
Slaughter family.
the Peterson family,
Peterson family.
the Patterson family,
Patterson family.
all of Israel.
All of Israel. Israelite School UPK.
So that's what you became.
You became Minnesota.
You became Minnesota,
You became Milwaukee.
you became
You
Milwaukee,
became Chicago.
you became Chicago,
You became Shamar Park.
you became Shamar Park,
You became Medical Park.
you became Manda Park. I became Minnesota.
I actually became Minnesota.
Officer Kudasa Young,
Officer Dazayan.
Officer Mungabar,
Officer Mungabar.
Trooper Kanagabar,
Trooper Kinagabar.
Trooper Kawanyala,
Trooper Kwan Yala. Officer Makabi.
Officer Makabi, Murakapa,
Marakapa.
Sister South Dakota,
South Dakota.
Sapara,
Sapar.
Yaparaka,
Yabaraka.
Tazayat,
Tazia.
Izar,
Azar.
Shirak,
Shara.
Kawa,
Kawat. Anali.
Anali, all of Israel.
All of Israel.
Upsala. Harazan,
Saharazan. Davis family.
Davis family. UK, Minnesota.
You became Minnesota.
All UK.
All you became.
Desiree Davis.
Desiree Davis. Bashim Yahushua.
Bashim Yahushua.
Tuaraman. In English, Lord, in the name of Yahushua.
Lord in Yahushua.
Bless us in Israel.
Bless us in
School.
the school.
Bless.
Bless.
You.
Shield.
Shield. Protect.
Protect.
I love you.
I love you.
In the name of Yahushua.
Yahushua.
Thank you so be. Blessed are you, Yahweh.
Blessed are Yahweh.
King of heaven and earth.
King of heaven and
And
earth.
all things living.
And all things living.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
In the name of Yahushua.
Yahushua.
Listen to us now.
To us now.
Right now.
Right now.
These are curses.
He is the person.
And punishment and destruction.
Punishing destruction.
To the evil.
To him.
That speak against us.
Speak against us.
Not prophets.
Like prophets.
The teachers. The princes.
The
priests. The Israelite brothers.
Like brothers.
And the school.
In the school.
The evils and curses.
He is the curse.
And punishment and destruction.
Punishing destruction.
To the heathen.
To the heathen.
And shake loose.
And shake loose.
The treasure of the rich of Israel.
Treasure rich of Israel.
That refuse to give to the school.
They refuse to give to the school.
Force their riches.
Force their riches.
That enter to thy
It is
sanctuary.
thy sanctuary.
And evils and curses.
He is the curse.
And punishment and destruction.
Punishing destruction.
To the Edomites.
To the Edomites.
And the nation.
And the nation.
And they drug
And
you.
the drug them.
Courses. Prison systems.
Prisons.
Planned parenthood.
Planned parenthood.
All the governments of our enemies.
All the gods of our enemies.
Amalek synagogues and armies.
Unless the guys are armed.
Roman Catholic Church.
Roman Catholic Church.
The Pope. Islam.
Islam.
Christianity.
Christianity.
Egyptology.
Intelligence.
Militia.
Militia.
Ku Klux Klan.
Klux Klan.
Every nation.
Every nation.
Skinhead.
Skinhead.
Hospitality.
Nationality.
Gay movement.
Gay.
Lesbian.
Lesbian.
Spies.
Spies.
Workers of witchcraft.
Witchcraft.
NASA space program.
Space program.
Army.
Army.
Navy.
Navy.
Air Force.
Air Force.
Marines. Wall Street.
Wall Street.
Open up the internet.
Open up the internet.
And the airways.
And airways.
Cable access channels. And a radio channel.
Radio channel.
Convict the spirit.
Convict the spirit.
Of any of our people that seek to stop us
Stop.
and bring swift destruction to all the heathen that stand in the way or try to stop us from broadcasting your words throughout the planet Earth. Let loose all the planets. Cause them to go to and fro through the earth and consume it. Let the plague shake the house of the thieves and the murder. And your house shot. Michael and Gabriel. Come down for flying saucers. Punish all the heathens that come up against us as we speak thy word. Cause it to be known by all. It is the angels that have done it. Cause it to be spread through the media. Throughout the whole world. Cause it to be shaken that comes. In the name of your house shot. Thank you always. So be it. So at the front, men of Israel, Mighty Shabbat, Mighty Barak, Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shabbat. Yes, I'm telling you, now. Start to the sisters. Courtesy salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, Mighty Shabbat, Mighty Barak, Yahweh Shema, Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shabbat. Yes, I'm telling you. Class dismissed.